Hello and welcome back to F1 Every Week. I'm your host, Ben Wevel, and today we are going to be looking at the sacking of Nikita Mazepin following the invasion of Ukraine by Russia and more. The next few weeks are going to be pretty hectic as I have loads of plans for the start of the season, so there will be lots of F1 Every Week content to listen to on the streaming platform of your choice, including Spotify and Apple Podcasts, all of which can be found linked below. Now, without further ado, let's get into episode 45. First off this week, it was announced on Saturday morning that Nikita Mazepin has been sacked by Haas. Despite the FIA having announced that they would allow both Russian and Belarusian drivers to compete in FIA-sanctioned events under a neutral flag, Haas decided to cut ties through an official statement by the team with their title sponsor Uralkali, the company owned by Nikita Mazepin's father Dmitry, a Russian billionaire and oligarch who was one of President Vladimir Putin's closest advisors, and by extension, they also terminated their contract with Nikita Mazepin. The team also says that they wish for a swift and peaceful end to the conflict in Ukraine, and have decided to announce the driver to replace Nikita Mazepin next week. Many have speculated that this driver will be Pietro Fittipaldi, grandson of two-time world champion and F1 great Emerson Fittipaldi, the young Brazilian having replaced Romain Grosjean for the final few rounds of the 2020 season after Grosjean's fiery accident in Bahrain. Even before the sacking, it was confirmed that Nikita Mazepin would not be allowed to compete at the British Grand Prix, but this was the development that most would have expected would be a result of this initial announcement. But do I think that this should have happened? I can, to an extent, empathise with Nikita, as it is not his fault that he is Russian, nor that he is the son of a prominent Russian figure. But from a moral and sporting standpoint, I entirely agree with the decision. Nikita Mazepin may have taken a win or two in Formula 2, as well as finishing 5th in the championship, but no one is denying that there are many drivers who deserve the seat 10 times as much as he does. And that once again, when the Uralkali money goes, which after the Ukraine situation began, there was no doubt that it would, it was only inevitable that he would be off as well. If Nikita had proved his worth last year, at least coming close to fellow rookie teammate Mick Schumacher, then maybe Haas would have seen his potential and decided to keep him on regardless of the situation if the FIA permitted, but that, of course, was not the case. And as I said last week, it is not just his horrendous performance on the track that has put him out of the F1 communities and my favour, but also his conduct off it. All of the frankly horrendous incidents surrounding the Russian having been discussed previously on the podcast. The debacle may mark the final blow for Haas, less the straw that broke the camel's back and more the anvil. In other news relating to the controversy, F1 announced on the 3rd of March that they had terminated their contract with Russian promoters. This means that there will no longer be a Russian Grand Prix in the future, including the previously announced race at St. Petersburg, set to be raced at from 2023. The decision follows the news last week on Friday, a day after the invasion of Ukraine, that racing in Russia in 2022 would be impossible in the current climate. Once again, similarly to the Nikita Mazepin situation, it would be wrong to continue racing in Russia, and especially as races such as these are often used as political tools to flaunt how excellent the country is in which the drivers race in, it would be entirely false in the case of Russia. Once again, this may not solve the issue, but it is a strong message of no tolerance towards the actions taken by, as Sebastian Vettel rightly puts it, the crazy leadership of Russia. In lighter news, Max Verstappen has recently signed a new contract with his parent team Red Bull that will see him race with the outfit until 2028. The deal, of course, follows his astounding last lap victory at the Abu Dhabi Grand Prix to clinch the 2021 World Championship. On the team radio post-race, Verstappen said that he wished to continue winning championships with the team for the next 10 or 15 years. He may have said this in the heat of the moment, but it certainly rings true to Red Bull's intentions with the Dutch star. He has been the number one driver since his debut for the team halfway through the 2016 season at the Spanish Grand Prix, in which he secured a shock maiden victory. And this deal, which extends further than any other F1 driver's current contract, shows the team's faith that Max's incredible form will continue well on into the future. This new deal reminding us that by 2028 he will still only be 31 years old. In a press conference, Max said that this was an easy decision, and there is no doubt that Max feels a deep amount of loyalty for the team that gave him his seat in the sport. Despite not having performed particularly well in testing, with no top 3 finishes in any of the 6 sessions, Red Bull will hopefully show in the next few weeks that they have given Max the machinery to be a championship contender for yet another year, surely to be repeated at some point in the next 6 seasons in the sport. Finally this week, F1 announced that the hit Netflix series Drive to Survive would be back for a 4th season on the 11th of March. There was so much drama in the 2021 season that I am sure Netflix will do it justice, so make sure to give it a watch. Thank you for listening to F1 Every Week. As I said at the start of the podcast, this is going to be a hectic couple of weeks, so there will probably be episodes twice a week until Bahrain, so tune in on Wednesday for yet another episode of F1 Every Week. Thank you for listening.